Sofian Amrabat has gone ahead to make an admission after his impressive debut at Old Trafford. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys, and where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. If you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. We are talking Sofian Amrabat and what he said after the impressive display at Old Trafford. And we are discussing Mason Mount. Ten Hag has gone ahead and reacted about Sofian Amrabat being played as the left back and very many others. Then he had to say about Mason Mount, Jadon Sancho, and William Gore. So you see that we are really having a lot on our menu, and hope you guys are really ready to obviously rock the boat with me. Not so? Let's see close to 300 likes. Smash this video. This is all about one thing. It's all about United Matters channel, and we are bringing you the best of these that you guys deserve. Now, when you want to obviously gauge exactly what United is all about, you have to do one thing: subscribe to this channel. That is it. Do one thing: subscribe to this channel. After subscribing, hit the notification bell. That will enable you get notified every time I upload a video onto this beautiful channel of ours. Now, we start it off with Sofian Amrabat and what he said after the beautiful game of football that he played for Manchester United. He said, "I've trained really hard the last 2 to 3 weeks to get 100%, but I need games. If you play games, you get stronger and better. It's not been the most easy time, but it's clear Man United is a huge club. The pressure is high, but we want this. We want to win." He went ahead to say, "It was very good performance. We played against Burnley with a very important win, and today gave the fans something to enjoy. I'm not in the moment at my best because it is normal with not a perfect preseason, little injury, and trained last weeks very hard to be 100% fit." He concluded by saying, "I'm not at my best at the moment because I've not had a perfect preseason." That is Sofian Amrabat for you. So he's telling us that he's not at his best because he has not gone ahead to have a perfect preseason. Then he took to his internet. He took to his Instagram and obviously had the following to post after putting up a very thrilling display at Old Trafford, and he said the following: that fantastic feeling to play and win in the theater of dreams. Thank you for the support. Looking forward to Saturday. Garnacho clapped hands. Amad Diallo was happy. Hannibal, Ayaya, that's what he said. And these are players that really come in from the Arab world of Africa. Then Donny van de Beek, Stekey, then Mason Mount obviously also had to throw in some replies in there for you for Sofian Amrabat. Now, there is a point I want to drive. If you're Scott McTominay fan, you might find yourself in a position of really taking this as an insult, but it's a fact. Sometimes facts are bitter, but they need to be let out. Now, what is the fact like? The fact is, Sofian Amrabat is not 100% fit, but he put in a display that Scott McTominay couldn't obviously put up when he's playing for Manchester United. You saw it in the previous 2 games against Brighton, against Bayern Munich, and against the side of, what's the name of that team? Against the side of Burnley. See what Sofian Amrabat, who has not been a month at Manchester United, playing his second game, and is looking like he's already a player that confines himself with Casemiro. That is obviously one of the things that obviously coming through and obviously say about, and people say that Rokan has an agenda on players like Scott McTominay. He's not 100% fit. He was never in the preseason, and he obviously has a lot to go, and all he needs is to obviously get to where he deserves to be. But for Scott McTominay, he did a preseason. He has been at Manchester United for years. It's Jose Mourinho that gave him his debut in 2017, close to 6 years at the club. And guess what? A performance he cannot put out. So it shows you what we have always been demanding for. For years, we've always gone ahead to demand for one CDM. When Casemiro was brought, we demanded for a second one to play with him in that double pivot. And I cannot wait to see how Casemiro and this lad obviously going to thrive into that midfield of Man United, because they look like they're going to give us hope and joy that had been lost for us for a very long time. I've seen Steve Bruce telling or putting out a statement that these two are really going to be unstoppable. And obviously that's the case. They're obviously going to be unstoppable in that midfield, because there is no way you obviously win a battle when you're having one of the best CDMs in the world playing against another one who is really good and is going to hate to prove it at the world stage. That is it. So everything that comes in through the club of Manchester United right now looks like it's obviously moving in the right direction, and this is the moment you always wanted. That's why I told you that even if Mason Mount is in, Rasmus Højlund is in, Bendier, Sergio Reguilón, Onana, I was not contented, and I was never at par, not until we brought in Sofyan Amrabat, because I knew that the most interesting bit of this is having Sofyan Amrabat. I've seen teams like Barcelona play with an ill defense, but because of Sergio Busquets, Iniesta, and Xavi in that midfield, that defense couldn't get exposed, because the way they could obviously hold onto that ball and keep possession onto them was really out of this world. So it came to my understanding that all what we needed was a player like this guy, and we obviously have him, and it's obviously doing wonders, and you're gonna hate to see just a snippet of what he can offer to this club of Manchester United. Then Ten Hag was asked on why he played him on the left back. This is what he had to say. I know he's capable of that. He's a player who gives the team what they need and makes a contribution. He has the quality as well as energy and the dynamic he brings. So Sofyan Amrabat is a dynamic player, and he played in a multitude of positions. He can play as a CDM, he can play as a number 8, he can play as a number 10, he can play as a right back, he can play as a left back. That is Sofyan Amrabat for you, and that's why Ten Hag was yearning to bring him in. Now, where are these people at the club of Manchester United who let out stories that the club was really doubting Sofyan Amrabat? And if you are to rank the signings of Manchester United that Ten Hag is going to have to bring in through, I believe Sofyan Amrabat has going to have to fit into this team more than Rasmus Højlund, Onana, Mason Mount. I think he's competing only Sergio Reguilón. He played like has been here for a very long time, and I believe on Saturday it's going to be a double pivot of him and Casemiro into that mix. Then he had the following to say about Amrabat and Harry Maguire, that is Eric Ten Hag. Amrabat, a player, will give the team what they need. He gives quality, energy, and a dynamic to the team. Harry Maguire was solid today. So Ten Hag is obviously just throwing superlatives to Sofyan Amrabat because of what he offered on the day, and we all admit that he really looked great in the day, and he's one of those players that you need to obviously know that is really good and ready for the job, and he has shown us on several occasions that he is really there to get us to where we deserve to be. I don't want to talk about Harry Maguire because for me I believe he's a player who doesn't deserve to be here. He's forcing himself to be here, and he's being played because we are really lacking some players into that central defense. If at all Lisandro Martinez looks sure, Malacia we are here, I don't see him really starting any game of football at Manchester United. That is it. So, and even on Saturday, I don't think that Harry Maguire will start. I think it's going to be either Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane, or Rafael Varane and Victor Lindelof. That is it. That's the defense of Manchester United, and that's how we anticipate it to be. Now, Mason Mount registered his first assist for Manchester United on the night, and Ten Hag had the following to say about this England international. He's returning from an injury, and we have to build this up. Go too quickly and you get a drop. We want to avoid that. I think his performance was good. He was talking about the performance of Mason Mount on the night. I think also he really put in his best performance for the club of Manchester United, and the only undoing for him was the injury we got after the Spurs game. I believe that in that game of Spurs, Mason Mount really looked great. He looked great, and he showed us signs that he's obviously going to thrive and obviously become better. So we just need more 4 or 5 games to see to it that these players obviously get the chemistry in between them, and they'll be getting everything right. So after the international break, with the fixtures we are really having, if this chemistry keeps on growing in between these players, I anticipate that no team is obviously going to stand in our way. We are going to beat very many teams, and very many teams are going to fall onto our sword as players of Manchester United. When you look at the games we are having after the international break, because the international break is going to resume at around 21st, that is it, if at all I'm not mistaken. What is it? So 21st October, that is it, United will be taking on Sheffield away from home. We can win that. We'll be hosting Copenhagen, right? Then we will be hosting Manchester City on the 29th of October. We just have to pray to it that we don't get injuries, right? We don't get injuries in the international break. Then we'll be playing Fulham, right? Then Copenhagen, and then Luton Town. Then we go to another international break. Now we look at these games. Let me look at the Premier League games. Luton Town, Fulham, Man City, Sheffield. You get? Those are the 4 games you're going to play after the international break. Now, I believe we can win all these games. We can win all these games and obviously go on a very winning run. Guys, if you want to see to it that we are not yet off this trophy, as people are really claiming, you just put up everything as it's deserved to be and put it on paper. The moment we go ahead and win 4 games consecutively, like we're going to do, because I believe you're going to beat Crystal Palace to make it 2 out of 2 in our last Premier League games, then we are going to beat Brentford. If we win the game of Crystal Palace and win the game of Brentford away from home, you're going to find us into the top 6 of the table. And the discussion is going to change. The narrative is going to be changed by these people who have always going to come through and obviously call themselves critics. And they're obviously going to change the tone because United will be on the groove. That is it. So that is it coming in from Mason Mount, and I believe his return will obviously help the club of Manchester United perform better and better and better. Now, obviously, you know, Jadon Sancho is always a question that this English media is always going to throw in to Erik ten Hag. He said, I don't talk about players who are not available. I don't know about him deleting his Instagram account. It's up to him. So Ten Hag looks like he's ready to obviously move on with Jadon Sancho. And for Jadon Sancho, it never worked for him as he wanted, because after losing to Arsenal and having lost to other teams like Tottenham Hotspur, Sancho knew that would obviously work well out to obviously maybe create a mutiny into that dressing room, to obviously see to it that the club or the players turn against the manager and the manager gets sacked. But the club has stood with the manager. Things are getting on as planned. And trust me, with the situation happening at Manchester United, if we continue to win very many games, Sancho will be forgotten. He's going to be forgotten, and no one will obviously give him a chance to obviously be listened to. So it's obviously not working in his way, and I think he will soon apologize, because this club is going to show to him that we can perform without you. Unless otherwise, he believes that it's over and over and over. But I know that where we are going to thrive and win is obviously going to put Sancho to where he deserves to be, and he's going to find himself in a position. I told you yesterday he deleted his Instagram account. Now let's talk about the 19-year-old player known as William, is it Dan Gore, who obviously went ahead to celebrate his 90th birthday yesterday. Ten Hag had the following to say about him: that I think it's a great birthday for him, but I'm not a manager who gives players opportunities for nothing. They have to deserve it. Once they deserve it, they get the chance. The young players have to deserve it every day in training. That's what we had to say about Danny Gore. Now, when you look at Danny Gore, very good player. his physical attributes are the ones that obviously led Erik ten Hag to give him a game and obviously get his debut into this fixture. And I'm 100% sure he's going to get more playing time because we're going to have to thrive into this competition. I know it's obviously going to be hard for him, but with the way things are really going in through, you cannot rule him out to obviously be one of those players that the academy is obviously going to be really hailing about. So that is Danny Go for Manchester United, putting in a shift like never before, and everything is going to obviously take us to where we deserve to be as the club of Manchester United. So that's what Ten Hag really had to say about this. Amrabat is going to obviously say this. Casemiro obviously went ahead and put in a shift, and it looks like they've gone ahead to find a new name for that double pivot. What an achievement from Mark Fred to Casemiro, right? Kase is Casemiro, Amrabat. So Casemiro is the new double pivot for Manchester United. And guys, allow me to take this chance to congratulate all the fans of Manchester United for really quenching your thirst finally, for having a double pivot that can easily outcompete that of Man City, Real Madrid, name it. With this double pivot, Bayern cannot survive at Manchester United. That is it. We are going to win all our games in the Champions League, and I fancy, or I tip us to really win our group stage in the Champions League. So guys, your thoughts on Amrabat admission after his debut at Manchester United are welcome in the comment section below. What do you make about Ten Hag say about Danny Go, Jadon Sancho, Mason Mount? All that and more into the comment section below. We thank God for the gift of life. For the Muslims, Allah's gonna hate to do you great, and thank you for really doing the needful. Let's see how God protects us, and the Almighty who created us will hail you the Most High.